Hello, and welcome to the Ventura Rock Spot. I'm Jeff Donovan, and I'll be your host. The Ventura Rock Spot is a monthly program featuring original musicians from or traveling through Ventura, California. Be sure to check out the website at VenturaRockSpot.com, where you can see all the previous episodes or learn how to become a featured artist yourself. And if you're wondering what's going on with the music scene around Ventura, California, check out VenturaRocks.com for all the latest information. So in this episode, we have with us Matthew G. Morgan. Thanks so much for being with us today, Matthew.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so, all right. Well, hey, let's just dive right into this interview. So,
Sure.
I noticed that on your website, you grew up listening to rock music, what could be termed hair metal or pop rock. And coming from that, how did you get to be where you are now as a traditional folk artist?
Well, church. I went to a church in Ventura called First Christian Church, which it isn't there anymore. And there was an older lady there who was singing, and I was interested in taking singing lessons. And I took lessons from her. And she, in the 60s, had done a little bit of work with like the CBS Orchestra in Chicago. So she started teaching me, and she worked a lot with a lady named Marilyn Horn, who is like a big wig in the world of classical singing. And so she gave me singing lessons, and I just liked the way she sounded. And basically, like in one of those books that you use that were written in the 1950s, a lot of those songs that they can use for copyright reasons are just really old songs that they don't have to pay royalties on. So that's how I kind of started, just that simple. And really just liked it. And, I like the history behind it. There's a lot of awesome history behind a lot of those songs. So that was just it. It just kind of clicked and naturally went that way.
There's a strong Irish-Scottish feel in your music. Does that have something to do with your background or maybe something else?
I am Irish mostly. I'm a little bit Italian and a little bit, my great-grandma was full-blooded Czechoslovakian. So, I didn't really know I was Irish until maybe 4 years ago. My singing teacher used to always say, I used to write my own songs. She's like, you have really good lyrics, like Irish. The Irish really know how to write. And I box, and I get, they call it marking. I get black eyes real easily. And he was like, are you sure you're not Irish? I'm like, no, I'm Welsh. And then I looked it up online, and my real last name is like O'Morgani or something like that. But when they came over to Wells, they kind of Protestanted it up or whatever and cut off the O's. So I am Irish.
Well, on that note, let's take a look at one of your videos and let everybody see some of your work. This is a video that's called Cindy, and it was one you put together exclusively for Ventura Rock Spot. So let's watch it right now. So that was a song called Cindy by Matthew G. Morgan, our guest today at the Ventura Rock Spot. So Matt, what was your path of learning, and what experience contributed the most to your choice of being a traditional folk artist?
Well, what experience contributed most? I would just say the history behind it. I really enjoy the songs. Those songs are really old and they've been rewritten so many times that people have really like reworked them. I've always liked classical music too. And it's just the level, even in early pop stuff, the level of songwriting was just so unbelievable. I mean, they paid those people just to be the songwriter, just to write the lyrics. So it's just that level. It's just that level of awesomeness. And there is some, I don't know, I like Hunter Thompson. And when he started writing books, he would write, I think it was A Great Gatsby. He would just type it over and over and over again, just to get the feeling of just writing like a great book, just kind of flowing through his palms, how it felt. And that's, I think, before I start actually writing my own songs, I want to kind of work through that in that way and just see how it feels to get the words and see how the words come together and the makeup of everything of just these fantastic songs, really. So,
did you ever have an interest in playing any other genre of music?
I played in a punk band before. We did like some practices and stuff like that. I've listened to rock and roll. I'm 41 now, and I still kind of do. I bought a ton of records. I've listened to it a lot. So it's just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of lost its pop, I think. I'm just, I don't have anything against it, but it's like, I've heard all the Ramones I want to hear, man. Like, I'm good, you know what I mean? So, I probably, on one of my next records, I'm probably going to do like maybe some more like later 60s or early 60s Sinatra kind of stuff.
Interesting.
Stuff like that. So it's just, I would like to just keep kind of my musical journey as far as that kind of open, and not really, and just kind of change with every album, and just, I work on my singing every day. I practice every single day, and just get to be a better singer and just a better dynamic and a better tone. And, it's like a lifelong journey for me.
How long have you been playing?
I've been screwing around with it for probably 15 years. Really like dedicated to it probably about 7, something like that. Recording, stuff like that,
Right.
Yeah.
What's your views on the mix of music versus marketing that's needed to be a successful musician today?
That I've actually taken a marketing course on it. That's like a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard for me to have enough time in the day to do both of them, to tell you the truth. There definitely is a reason for a record label. It's a lot of work. And I find that when I'm doing marketing, I don't actually do the practice and the recording that I need to do. And, that's one of the biggest things on my Instagram page. I would like to have more music stuff in there, but it takes a long time for me to do that. So marketing is like a whole nother thing. I would be happy if I could get an hour in every day, but really, I mean, marketing is like a full-time job. You need to put 40 hours a week into it to I think effectively do it, you know, and to have content. They want you to put out at least one thing of content per 3 platforms. I mean, that takes a long time to do. That's a lot of work. And you really gotta, you know, for me especially, it's like you really gotta have a lot going on in your life to, you know, otherwise you just kind of, it seems like you're just kind of putting out the same thing every day. So,
Do you have any help? Do you have a social media manager, or is it just you doing it?
it's just me. It's just me. That's it. It's all me. One man show over here. So there's a reason to pay people for that stuff. Like, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It really is.
So, all right. Well, listen, we've got another video for our viewers. This one is a tune called Kitty, and let's check that one out right now. Here we go. So that was one called Kitty, and I really enjoyed that, Matt. That was
Right on.
really,
Thank you.
so on that note, the first video was a song called Cindy, and the second video was a song called Kitty. Were those by any chance 2 people that might have been in your life at some point, or just random names that popped into the air?
No, well, I didn't write either one of them. Those are written by somebody like before the dawn of time.
Okay.
One of them, I mean, if you don't mind if I name drop, the song Kitty is from a band called the Pogues. They covered it. And so that's where I got it from. And Cindy was, I got it off a movie called Rio Bravo. It's an old cowboy movie. And Ricky Nelson and Dean Martin sang it. And so I did an EP recently that I released called Rio Bravo. And that's on the B side of it. So those songs that I chose to cover were done. One of them was done by the Pogues, and one of them, Cindy, was done by Ricky Nelson and Dean Martin, but both of them are in public domain. They were written, I think they think Cindy was written in like the 1700s or something like that.
Wow.
So it's like beyond public domain. They're both unknown authorship on that, both those songs.
So when you do write your own music, what's your process for writing a song? You start with the lyrics, the music, just whatever comes first. Do you have a specific process that you work through?
I've written I guess the three ways you do it. I've written guitar parts and listened to the guitar and then stuck odd words in there and then took the melody out of that and those words and kind of wrote a song, because I am like a topical songwriter. I've done that. I've written a melody before in my head, like on the piano or just in my head, and then put a guitar to that. And I've just written kind of poetry, I guess you would say, and kind of patched together a song off of that. So all three. Yeah.
So it's been kind of a crazy year for everybody. What have you been doing music-wise to keep yourself busy? You got any new projects you're working on, or any collaborations that you've done?
Yeah, well, actually, I record. I do one song a month, and I record up at it's a place called Mountain Dog up in Oakview, and that's in Ventura County. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we go in and we write the music. I do a scratch track, and then I come back and then I work on that every day. And then usually about a month later, I go in to record it just to give me enough time to practice. I'm like one of these people who loves to put in the work. So I've been doing that. I actually have a couple of live songs that I'm going to release. And yeah, I guess that's it. Just I have this room I'm sitting in right here. I got a little PA set up. So I practice for my live stuff. And then I'm doing a residency down at Vaquero y Mar, which used to be the Hong Kong Inn, on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
I've got a lot of stuff going on. Plus I do vocal practice every day. I try to do a little bit of guitar practice, and I'm doing music theory class. So a lot.
So you've got a residency there now. So when are you playing? Is that a regular weekly
Yeah,
event?
it's regular. It's every Wednesday.
Okay, every Wednesday.
Except today, because I'm doing it tomorrow because of this, and then I'm going to go record later. So
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
fascinating. So, all right. Well, listen. We got one more short video here. This one's called Red River Valley, and this is another one that you put together exclusively for this Ventura Rock Spot episode. So, thank you so much for doing that.
Right
and
on.
let's watch it right now. Here we go.
From this valley, they say you are going. We will miss your bright eyes and sweet smile. For they say you are taking the sunshine that has brightened our pathway a while. Come and sit by my side and you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. But remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy that loved you so true. For a long time, my darling, I waited for the sweet words you never would say. But alas, all my hope has all vanished. For they say that you're going away. Come and sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. But remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy that loved you so true. As you go to your home by the ocean, side, you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. But remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy that loved you so true. Think of the valley you're leaving. Oh, how lonely and dreary it be. Do you think of the kind heart you're breaking and the hell that you're causing to me? Come and sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. But remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy that loved you so true. Cowboy that loved you so true.
All right. Well, that one was called Red River Valley. Is there any story that you have behind that one?
Yeah, well, that was actually originally a Scottish song, and they changed it over. I believe it's written about somewhere between like Arkansas and Texas is where it's supposed to be. That was one of my like songs out of the practice book. It's 3 notes on the guitar, so I could play it like super easy. And when we did a video of that, I did like a little promo teaser, and Tony, who shot the video, kind of ended up making it. It's a love song, but he kind of wanted to make it like a little bit about me and my dog. So I'm super stoked on that. If you get to check that out, that's my dog, and it was really a lot of fun.
What can people expect from you in the future? Are you working on new recordings or?
Yeah, so I have I'm about ready to wrap up an album up here. I'm going to go do vocals tonight, and then I'm going to do one more song. And so I'll have a record out, and then I want to put out a CD, and I want to put out a cassette, and then they're going to have kind of one alternate song on everything. I do have a Kitty 7-inch out now.
I've seen that. And are you going to do singles from the album as well?
You know, I was actually thinking about doing a single. You can't put these things in my head, man. My pocketbook is thin. But I would absolutely love to. I totally did want to do a single though. And I'm going to shoot videos with all this stuff. So it's going to be a little bit of an investment, but I think it'll be awesome. So
I noticed also on your website, we just spoke about your interest in possibly doing other genres of music, and I did notice that you had covered a Rolling Stones tune on there.
I do.
Where can our viewers find you online? I know that you have a lot of social media outlets, and tell us about how to find out more about you, what's coming up, and where people can find you online.
Well, I'm most active on Instagram. That's like my number one. And it's just at Matthew G. Morgan. You can go any of my links and just go to MatthewGMorgan.com, and you can hook up my Spotify. It'll get you my YouTube page. I'm fairly active on YouTube. I'd like to start posting a little more live stuff there. I used to do like a monthly happenings of what I'm going to be doing the next month, and I need to restart that again. Mm-hmm. But those are like probably the best places to go, but you can find links to all that on my website. So, and Facebook, I'm fairly active on too.
Well, listen, is there anything else that you think our viewers or anybody should know about your music? Any final thoughts you have about that?
So when I go play live, it's just me and an acoustic guitar. So it's kind of like a different thing kind of going on there. It's a different experience seeing me live. You're getting like a super stripped down version of what I'm doing.
All right. Well, our time is fastly approaching here, and I think we're going to have to conclude the episode. But thank you so much for being with us, Matthew. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm super, super, super appreciative.
All right. So, on that note, that is going to conclude this episode of Ventura Rock Spot. And again, thank you so much, Matthew, for being with us. And I'd also like to thank our producer, GWCProductions, and our partners, OurVenturaTV and VenturaRocks.com. And thanks to all of you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. All right, that's it.